You will agree with me too that because of the bad leadership, I'm not personalizing, sir, of SCF and people that are behind it, SCF is not acceptable.
Sorry, my lord.
That is your
Sorry,
view.
my lord, that is going too far. That is going too far. He's asking the witness that there is bad leadership.
Let him go on. Let him go on.
I haven't stopped any.
Hey, but my lord, it does not make sense.
What do you mean by going too far?
He's saying because of the bad leadership of ACF.
Bad leadership.
Yes.
My lord, this is a fact-finding
That's
commission.
too much. No, that's too much.
This is a fact-finding commission. I have
that's too
documentary
much.
evidence,
He said
sir.
something about middle belt. What did he say about middle belt?
My lord, we want to puncture
He
the
said
fact.
something
Yes.
when he was answering your last question about middle belt. What did he say?
Yes,
don't
my lord, he
even know
said other people are not satisfied. That is why we are here.
That the middle belt is not satisfied.
And other people too from
He
the
mentioned
north.
middle belt.
Yes.
What did he say?
He said we are an distraction from the north. And that is why we are here, etc., etc.
I see. Well, don't go into personal questions. Ask general questions.
As a commission places, do you know how northern Nigeria came into being?
Sorry?
Do you know how northern Nigeria came into being?
How northern Nigeria came into being?
Yes.
It came into being as part and parcel of the Nigerian history of British colonial expansion and the cession of the Nigerian geographic entity in the 1885 Berlin Convention as part of the territory that was under the protection of the British colony.
From 1900. Would you agree with me that northern Nigeria as a region came into being through the accident of history?
Every entity, I agree with you, comes into being as accident of history. So is our birth too.
We agree with me that the word Arewa first gained official or political prominence because it was associated with the Northern People's Congress, Jamia Mutanin Arewa. Am I right?
Jamia Matar Arewa?
Mutanin Arewa.
Yes, came into prominence as a political entity.
And the slogan, "One North, One People, One Destiny," was also a slogan of the NPC.
It was.
There was in the North, at that time, some other parties, prominent among which were United Middle Belt Congress,
Yes.
Northern Elements Progressive Union, NEPU,
Yes.
etc., etc.
Yes.
So if the slogan, "One North, One People," was applicable to NPC, it did not bind UNBC and NEPU. Am I right? If the slogan
was for the people. It was not.
No, you have already answered, sir.
Yes.
If the slogan was
It
one
was not
people,
for political parties. It was not a slogan of one people, one party, one this. But the UMBC are talking about are political parties entitled to their own slogan or motto.
yes, they were not bound by that slogan.
Naturally, it was democratic.
Thank you. And therefore, today too, since we are living in a democracy, people from the North who wish should not be bound by that slogan.
By which slogan, my lord?
One North, One People, One Destiny.
They were never bound by it.
Today too, people, since we are living in a democratic environment, people have the right to choose whether to be bound by that slogan. Is that true?
I don't understand what
No,
you mean.
because you understand perfectly. You are a lawyer like myself, sir.
Yes. Because
So-
the question does not arise.
Today, in today's political setting, Nigeria is a democracy. People who hitherto had belonged to northern Nigeria through the accident of history And who choose will not be bound by one north, one people, one destiny. Am I right?
You are wrong, because ever before they themselves were not bound. They were never bound before, neither are they bound now.
So why am I wrong? It's still a
I didn't
continuation
say you
of
are
the
wrong
old.
because I didn't understand what question you're asking me. It's as if they were in the past bound, and now they are free. They were never bound. And as of today, they are not bound.
Sorry,
you are
sir.
free.
Sorry, sir. In your evidence in chief the other day, you were asked, and you did mention the Middle Belt. And you say that officers from the Middle Belt, the Middle Belt has no right to complain because they have been compensated, etc., etc.
I have never remembered saying any such thing.
But did you mention the Middle Belt?
I did mention the Middle Belt as part of the regions in which there were demands for the creation of state, which was given recognition as part of the Minorities Wellings Commission. They were given the recognition when 12 states were created. They became, those vociferous Middle Belt in the north became Benue Plateau State. And today they are Benue State or Plateau State.
Today, sir, you said the Willings Commission. Do you have a copy of the Willings Commission to prove what you are saying right now? That they were given recognition.
Pardon me?
Do you have a copy of the Willings Commission of 1958 to prove
I don't have.
Take a look at this one, which is a certified true copy.
I thought we've tendered it.
Yes, sir. My Lord,
Yes.
I applied to tender it as an exhibit. Look at page 104.
No, first of all, has it been tendered?
No, sir.
I want to tender it now.
I applied to tender it now.
All right.
Certified true copy of the Willings Commission of 1958.
87.
Yes. Where they mark minority areas. Show me anywhere that the right of the Middle Belt agitators was recognized, because they recognized others.
That was not what I said.
What did you say?
Exactly. I will repeat what
one by
I
one.
said.
He
so you
mentioned the
can-
Willings Commission,
What
that they
page?
recognize the rights of the Middle
Counsel,
Belters.
what page of exhibit?
Page 104, sir.
104.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, minority areas. Yes.
What's the question?
Yes.
Page 104. Wanting to read it?
Throughout the report, that is, under minority areas,
Yes.
recognition was deliberately not given to the Middle Belt agitators, but was given to other minorities. Calabar, Western region, Midwestern region, etc., etc.
There was no
It's
Calabar
not-
State, my lordship.
No. Areas from Calabar, I may
Yeah.
not be very accurate, the report is there.
Why not ask him to read it? We listen.
My
to
lord,
what-
I'm
read it.
sorry. I have another
107,
report.
104.
Page 104
Yes,
to the end, which deals with minority areas.
yes.
The Middle Belt was not mentioned. Am I right?
You may be right.
Did you send a memo to Willings?
My
Did
Lord,
you send a memo to Willings?
whether we sent a...
A memorandum?
No, my Lord, we want to know the truth. We are talking about Middle Belt agitations, and I believe the Commission will be interested in knowing, because the Willings Commission appears in their own response. So the Commission would have interest in knowing what the Willings Commission
The
decided.
question from the chairman is that these areas whom you are claiming have been excluded in the report, did they make submissions to the Willings Commission?
Sorry, Council.
Yes, my Lord. The made submissions, they are there.
Let me help you.
The submissions
Yes,
the Middle
yes,
Belt
they made-
people made are there.
They made submissions.
Yes.
I don't remember the details now, but
They
at
are
least
there, sir.
I remember reading the Willings Commission report. I think, with hindsight, what he said about the minority agitations in the north was something like this. Whereas it granted some concessions to minorities in the south, it argued that the problems of the minorities in the north would be dealt with by the then northern regional government, with hindsight, you might argue whether that was the right decision or not, but my memory of the report was that it was, at the end of the day, left to the northern regional government to deal with. I think that's,
in other words, it was left untouched, and that
Yes.
is what I want to extract from him. Other regions had their own matters tackled, but the Willings Commission refused to tackle the issue of the Middle Belt. That is why today we are still talking about it. Is that not so from that report?
It is not so.
Show me where they tackled the issue of
I will not show you. I have reports that will show you that the minorities, the thief, the people in Plateau made submissions to Willings Commission. Willings did made recommendations. And what I was adverting to in our submission was that the creation of 12 states rather than regions gave recognition to the political entity of the minorities of northern region. So you had Benue Plateau, you had Kwara as a state, as opposed to regions.
All right. The late Sir Ahmadu Bello, whom we respect, was the premier of the northern region.
He was democratically elected.
Yes, of course. October 1, 1954. Take a look at this book. He said, My Life. It was published in 1962 by Alhaji Sir Ahmadu Bello.
Yes.
I applied to tender it as an exhibit. Page 215.
$215, yes.
My Life,
Yes.
by Sir Ahmadu Bello.
Yes.
Read the underlined portion.
All the
I have
underlined.
applied to tender it, sir. Let them mark it.
The whole page is underlined.
Yes, it's relevant to our case.
You wish that I read all?
215.
Or from where?
Exhibit 88.
Yes, from where they take it. The most embarrassing
Yes,
commission.
right.
Most embarrassing. Pages 215 to 216.
I read as follows. The most embarrassing commission was the one on the minorities.
Yeah.
This wandered round the country listening patiently to scores upon scores of people who thought for one person or another, for one reason or another, that their area should be carved out of the region in which it then lay, claiming that they did not get a fair deal from the party in power in the region. There were three groups which made the most noise. Two of these were in the other regions and need not concern us.
Yeah.
But the third was the group advocating the so-called Middle Belt, a long slice of country running along both sides of the River Niger and Benue, with an extension to cover the plateau and southern Zaria.
Yeah.
Apart from the fact that it would be physically difficult, if not impossible, to administer such a peculiarly shaped area, there was nothing to show that the various people making up this group would in fact agree amongst each other if they found themselves involved in a new region. It would be only too likely that further fragmentation would ensure fairly soon after such an arrangement had been made.
Okay, in order to cut a long story short, go to the page 216, the last paragraph underlined. From the commission produced, that is the Willings Commission.
The commission produced a very lengthy report of which the northern section occupied about 1/3 of its volume.
Yes.
They made some suggestions about the eastern and western regions,
Yeah.
which are only just being implemented, but agreed that the North should be left as it was.
Yeah.
They did not accept the proposals put forward to constitute a Middle Belt region and were against any interference with our boundaries. We therefore had no reason to complain of their findings. Since then, the whole agitation has died away into a few infrequent rumblings on the horizons of the Tiv Division and the Birom country of the High Plateau.
So from this book written by the Premier of the Northern Region himself, the Willings Commission did not attend to the agitations of the Middle Belt region.
It attended to it.
From this, what we read,
he attended to it and make recommendations.
That we are dismissing your case.
You may not agree
go
with
ahead and be existing while other regions.
That was their recommendation. You are entitled to fault it, Your Lordship, but that is their recommendation. They attended, they listened to them, and they made a recommendation. Would you not agree with it?
Would you agree with the suggestion that the Middle Belt is a creation of the Southern media?
I beg your pardon?
Would you agree with a suggestion from any quarter that the Middle Belt is a creation of the Southern media?
The Middle Belt is a creation of the political thesis of political development by political parties and politicians.
So it's not a development arising from the Southern media. It does not owe its origin to the Southern media. Yes or no?
I don't understand what you mean.
No. The first question I asked you was, would you agree with suggestions from any corner that the Middle Belt is a creation of the Southern media? Rather than...
I don't know if the Southern media create political thesis and political what you may call stereotyping of a region. I say it has been a political movement.
Thank you very much. Take a look at Africa now. The interview by your chairman, Exhibit 86. Yes, page 17. Exhibit 86, page 17. And tell the whole commission what your chairman said.
Yes.
The central column, the center, the one in the center.
Yes.
Africa Today.
Yes.
So ask the question and answer. That was the answer your chairman gave.
Where?
Africa Today. There is an agitation by the Middle Belt, etc., etc. The central column. Not left, not right. The central one. The middle.
Yes. I can see
so
the
look
middle
at Africa now. There is an agitation by the Middle Belt.
Yes.
Go ahead.
There is an agitation by the Middle Belt that the core North has not sufficiently taken care of their interests, and they therefore desire independence from the rest of the North. How is the Arewa Forum handling this dispute? Yusufu. It is the figment of the imagination of the press in Lagos, because in that Arewa Forum, the people you call Middle Belt are all there, prominently taking their part in it.
Yes.
They are not... You want me to stop there?
No, go ahead.
They are not thinking that anybody is stopping them from anything. How can anybody stop them anyway? I said we have states. Can Sokoto State stop Benue State from getting its due from the center? It's not on. This is a figment of the imagination of the press in Lagos because of this idea which they have refused to change.
So you will agree with me, contrary to what your chairman told that paper, that the Middle Belt is not a creation of the Lagos press, neither is it a figment of that press.
He did not say it was their creation or their figment.
But you are reading it.
Yes.
You are reading it, sir. He said, what he said is there, which you have just read. You will agree with me that the Middle Belt is not the creation of the Southern press. It has been there.
See,
since
he
time
is
immemorial.
Replying to a question which talks about desire independence from the rest of the North. The question is the reply to the desire of independence, which is the figment of imagination. because those citizens from that state are part and parcel of the Arewa Forum.
Are you sure?
Well, I am very sure.
All right, sir, we are coming to that.
Because General Gawan...
Don't worry, we are coming to that.
I should worry, because we want to tell the truth. General
We are coming to
Gawan
that.
is a trustee of
Yes.
Arewa. He is a middle
Jeremiah
belter.
Hussaini.
Jeremiah Hussaini.
All of them
He is a
will know,
middle
don't
belter.
worry.
He is a member of the association.
We shall reach that level. We shall reach there.
No, we should not deny the truth.
Would you support the agitation for a Middle Belt autonomy?
I beg your pardon?
Would you support the agitation for a Middle Belt autonomy? A region. A Middle Belt region.
First and foremost, I have difficulty in answering this question because I don't know your definition of the Middle Belt.
I will
Secondly, I don't understand what you mean by autonomy, because dependence or independence is a matter of degree. And if you are saying their autonomy to opt out of the federation, I will not support it.
Yes. What of
Right, and there is no Middle Belt state per se, except a general descriptive nomenclature. Benue Plateau is a state, Niger is a state, Plateau is a state, Kwara is a state, Kogi is a state.
Yes.
So, to say you are now regrouping them as Middle Belt and asking for their own autonomy, it puts me in a lot of tribulation to know how to answer you.
Okay. You have what of northern region? Are there not states in the north, the whole of the north?
They are.
So why are you representing the north?
I have told you, even if we were a political party, which we are not, we cannot say we represent the whole northern region or the whole northern people. Because you are entitled to your opinion, you are entitled to your philosophy, you are entitled to associate with whoever you like, and you are entitled to adopt your name if it doesn't contradict with the law. Arewa Consultative Forum is a free association under our democratic dispensation with their own objective. So they cannot pride themselves to say they represent you. If they represented you, you would not be here.
Thank you very much. We have been hearing that one. We are glad. Would you agree with me? I'm now coming to the definition of the Middle Belt, and we have to be very careful. Would you agree with me that Adamawa, which is your state of origin by my own definition?
Yes.
Taraba.
Yes.
Gombe.
Yes.
Southern Bauchi, Southern Kebbi.
Yes.
Southern Kaduna.
Yes.
Kwara, Niger, Kogi, Plateau.
Yes.
FCT, Nasarawa, and Benue are Middle Belt states.
I don't agree with you, because what is your definition of Middle Belt?
Don't worry, we'll go
When I did geography, I know that the geography of Nigeria is divided into belts. There is the deciduous belt, there is the savanna belt, there is the grassland belt, there is swamp belt, the mangrove belt. This middle belt is a political expression. Until you define it, I cannot tell you I understand it.
Don't worry.
I am so many degrees north of the equator.
Don't worry.
So what brings me
going
into
to
a
define
middle
it
belt?
now. We will define it. Upon My Life by Sir Amadu Bello, page 215.
Yes.
Exhibit 88. Yes. Page 215. They said there were 3 groups.
Yes.
So read from there. We will not go far.
There were 3 groups which made the most noise. I have read that before.
Go ahead. We are now defining. We are now defining the Middle Belt. Maybe you read in answer to another question.
I'm saying I have read this text before.
I'm saying that read it. We now want to define the Middle Belt.
There were 3 groups which made the most noise. 2 of these were in the other regions and need not concern us. But the third was the group advocating the so-called Middle Belt.
A long slice with emphasis from that place. Go ahead.
The so-called Middle Belt.
Yes.
A long slice of country running along both sides of the rivers Niger and Benue.
Yes.
With an extension to cover the Plateau and Southern Zaria.
Yes.
I should go on? Apart.
No, it's okay.
Yes.
So you will now agree with me that the rivers Niger and Benue traverse on the western side, Kogi, Kwara, Kogi, Niger, and Kebbi in present Nigeria of today.
Yes.
So if they say there's a long slice running on both sides, it covers southern Kebbi.
Yes.
And also Kwara, which is down.
Yes.
Thank you. Now,
I'm still waiting for the question. Does that define middle belt?
No.
Thank you.
Don't worry, sir. We're
Thank
coming.
you. Thank
now, the eastern arm traverses Benue, Taraba, and Adamawa. Am I right? The eastern arm of the river Niger.
The eastern arm?
Yes, river Benue rather.
Eastern arm?
No. River Benue traverses Benue, Taraba, and Adamawa.
You are correct.
So, if they describe a long slice of country running on both sides of the river Benue, it includes Adamawa State. Am I right?
It includes parts of Adamawa.
Thank you very much. We'll come to that. Take a look at this book written by a white man. It's entitled Nigeria in Conflict. My Lord, I apply to tender this book into evidence.
Nigeria what?
Nigeria in Conflict. Written by Professor Robert Collis, who was a colonial master.
Exhibit 89, page what?
My Lord, come, we'll mark the photocopy.
Exhibit 89.
Bring it. Mark this one. Take a look at exhibit 89 from, that is page 87 and 89. Pages 87 and 89. No, the original is back. Let me. Page 89, 87. '87, where I marked the place down to where it ended.
Yes.
It was the British, etc., etc. Go ahead.
From which point?
From, it was the British. It is marked 87.
Right.
Yes.
It was the British, however, who later, when establishing the regions of Nigeria, included officially in the northern region both the Plateau and the Middle Belt.
Yes.
Example, tribes such as the Nupes, Thieves, Igalas, Idomas, and from the Plateau, Angas, Birom, and Sura. The Kanuri who lived south of Lake Chad, with Maiduguri as their chiefdom, were not defeated. However, they also have a good deal of Nile tradition in their customs,
Yes.
and are somewhat lighter skinned than their neighbors, the Hausas.
Yes. Go ahead. After World War II.
After World War II, about 47% of this old northern region was inhabited by the Muslim Fulani Hausa and Kanuri combination.
Thank you.
In the remaining 53% of the other tribal areas, different forms of nature worship predominated. Among these tribes, there were many conversions to Christianity, but even today, there are very few Christians among the Hausa Fulanis.
Yes. Stop there, please.
Yes.
Open at page 89. 87, we have established that the Hausa Fulani and Kanuri combination only had 47% of the total land mass. The remaining 53 belong to the rest. So we are going. Open to page 89.
Yes.
The second paragraph, where they say the peoples of the Middle Belt.
Sorry?
89.
Yes.
The peoples of the Middle Belt. Start from there. Just that paragraph.
Yes, the peoples of the Middle Belt, both north and south of the rivers Niger and Benue,
Yes.
consist of a number of tribes of different ethnic groups speaking quite different languages.
Thank you. Just stop there.
Yes.
So you will agree with me, one, from this book, not your opinion, that as at Second World War II, the land of the Hausa, Fulani, and Kanuri combination was only 43%.
I don't agree with him.
No, from this text.
I don't agree with
not
it.
your opinion, sir. From this text.
I don't agree with it.
You will also agree with me that this man agrees with Sir Ahmadu Bello that the people of the Middle Belt are both north and south of rivers Niger and Benue at page 89. Is that true?
It is not totally true.
No, Sir Ahmadu Bello had already said it. This man is also confirming. Is it true or false, sir? From this, not your opinion.
Yes, common sense.
Thank you.
Dictates. I would like to answer you, but since we are searching the truth, see, we are not talking about geographical expression only. You are talking also of political expression. And you cannot assume that there is that convergence in making it so simplistic,
don't worry.
as if that is the true history of Nigeria.
I will
that
come.
Is not the true history.
See another book here. Take a look at this book. My Lord, I apply to tender this book entitled But Always as Friends. But Always as Friends.
Let's see.
Written by Sir Brian Smith, the former Governor General of Northern Nigeria. But Always as Friends, written by Sir Brian Smith, the former Governor General of Northern Nigeria. Open page 333. I apply to tender it, sir, into evidence as an exhibit. I don't know whether I can. My Lord, I don't know whether I can substitute with the relevant area, the relevant extract. He can compare it.
That's all right.
Yes, sir.
It's with 90.
As a commission places. Come and give it to him. Page 333. From line 3 down. The marked area. We are still defining the Middle Belt.
Yes.
Yes. You will mark this one, please. You will mark this one. Let me use it. Or write it.
Yes, you want me to read?
Yes, read from line 3. 333 from line 3.
The expression Middle Belt
Yes.
had been coined between the wars to describe those parts of northern Nigeria which lay at Twat, the Niger, and the Benue, between the country of the Igbo and the Yoruba, and the savanna lands of the border Emirates. The 6 provinces which lay within this belt differed in many ways from their northern neighbors. The rainfall was higher, the farmlands more fertile, and though Islam had its outposts and its spheres of influence, particularly in the towns and among the ruling caste, its adherents were overall in the minority. Finally, Hausa was the lingua franca, not the mother tongue.
Yes, the opening paragraph of this book, written by a former Governor General of the region, says the expression Middle Belt had been coined between the wars to describe those parts of northern Nigeria which lay at Twat, the Niger and the Benue, between the country of the Igbo and the Yoruba, and the savanna lands of the border Emirates. That means the boundary was marked at the border Emirates. Kano, Maiduguri, etc., etc. From this book. Am I right? That is the boundary.
I have tried to say, my Lord.
No,
you
from this
right,
book, sir.
These are geographical expressions. You also have a political expression of what is the Middle Belt.
No.
I am disagreeing with you in accepting both convergence as one and the same thing.
No, we don't go into semantics. I know the sense you are trying to
but
bring.
You want me to agree, and I say I don't agree.
I say from this book,
I don't agree.
The Middle Belt northern boundary is the northern eminent.
He's entitled to his definition.
Thank
but
you.
I don't agree.
Thank you. Come on, collect. would therefore agree with me in that from those definitions, this could be an accurate map of the Middle Belt. My Lord, I seek to tender it. From those definitions, this could be an accurate map representing approximately 53% of the total land mass and bordering the Northern Emirates. You don't know. We are.
Market 91.
Let him answer the question, yes or no. Show it to him.
No.
No, you have not seen the document.
I have seen it. Huh? I'm not blind.
This is another book written by Dr. Yusuf Turaki. It's entitled The British Colonial Legacy in Northern Nigeria, a social ethical analysis of the colonial and post-colonial society and politics in Nigeria, published in 1993. Take a look at this map drawn by him as representing the Middle Belt. This is Dr. Yusuf Turaki. I don't even know him. Does it not correspond in all material respects with what we have?
Tender the book first before.
Yes, my Lord, I applied to tender it as an exhibit.
What's the name of the book? British Colonial. 92.
As the commission places, take a look at page 56A,
Page
where
what?
a map is drawn.
Page what?
Does that map not
Page
agree
what?
with the previous exhibit, prepared to precision?
5, 6.
Does that map not agree with the map drawn by concerned citizens of the Middle Belt, having regard to historical facts?
It bears no resemblance to historical facts.
No, that.
It bears resemblance to geographical facts.
Thank you.
The
Give me
historical fact
geographical.
of Nigeria is not a geographical expression. It is true historical expression.
But
And
there is-
this does not represent the historical truth of the political territory that existed either before the
Wait, what
colony
historical
or
facts do you
after.
need? We have
So I
standard
don't
books
agree
written
with
by
this.
Sir Ahmadu Bello, the former governor general. Everybody, you are saying, what history do you want from who? From
That
America?
is not history. I'm telling you, they were expecting political as distinct from geographical. This is a geographical Middle Belt.
But at least a Middle Belt has been identified in that map. Am I correct?
You are correct.
Thank you. Take another look at this book. It is entitled Aliyu Muhammad, The Thief Connection, written by Mustafa Towaya.
Yes.
Yeah, my Lord, I applied to tender it into evidence as an exhibit. Turn to page 17.
Sorry, my lord.
Exhibit 93.
Sorry, my lord. I agree everybody should be given opportunity. But my lord said you'll give us 3 hours, and we have only today and tomorrow, and we have so many witnesses. If all the cross-examinations will be like this indefinite, I don't know where we'll go, my lord.
Cross-examined before today. Finish today. If he finishes tomorrow, is it bad?
And then we are closing our case
You-
tomorrow.
Yes, we will close. We sit till about 7, if you can sit till 7.
Thank you.
Go on.
So, open at page 17 of that book.
Yes.
Page 17, the second paragraph, where they start with Middle Belt area.
Page 17.
Yes.
Yes.
Where they start with Middle Belt area.
Page
Yes.
what are you reading?
Please. Page 17, sir.
17.
Where I think your tribe is even mentioned there. Go ahead. Middle Belt area.
Page 17.
Yes.
Middle Belt area of Nigeria is composed of people who have both been active and at the receiving point of Nigeria's historical development. In this area, there were various pockets of resistant movement against the real or perceived Hausa Fulani expansionism. The Thief had been active in their expansion in the upper middle Benue. The Nupes played a role in steadying affairs between the north and the south, where the growth of Hausa culture and the Yoruba state formation process would appear to converge. On the plateau, the tribes had been herded into refuge areas by intercommunal wars, both inside and outside their abode.
Yes.
This trend would
Appear to affect.
to have also affected
Yes, with
in
emphasis.
various measures
The Adamawa people.
the Adama people.
Extending to Southern Borno. Go
You
ahead.
might as well read it, my
Sorry,
lord.
sir. Sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
I thought you've taken over the reading.
Sorry, sir. Sorry.
Oh, thank you. The Thief had been active in their expansion in the upper middle Benue. The Nupes played a role in steadying affairs between the north and the south, where the growth of Hausa culture and the Yoruba state formation process would appear to converge. On the plateau, the tribes had been herded into refuge areas by intercommunal wars, both inside and outside their abode. This trend would appear to have also affected in various measures the Adama people extending to the southern Borno among Bulas,
Yes.
Baburs,
Thank you.
Chibok, Margis, etc. This was the area affected by the Middle Belt consciousness, and because its first cohesive leadership came from the Thief, it provided dynamics for the Thief political uprising. These uprisings and the political consciousness among the Middle Belt people were in part the failure to implement the recommendations of the Willings Commission for the creation of states after independence.
Yes.
It was very critical to the history of the North, which lacked indigenous manpower for the day-to-day administration of northern Nigeria.
Yes. From these historical materials, I have more, but I will stop there on that question. The Middle Belt has been vividly described. Do you agree with me? We have shown you the boundaries, borders of the Igbo country and the Yoruba country, then up north, the northern Emirates, the far northern Emirates. That is these are the boundaries. Would you agree with me that the Middle Belt has been described from all these documents?
I have tried to answer your question. Even here, it's talking about description of political consciousness as distinct from geographical expression. They are not one and the same thing. History is the product of one, geography is the product of the other. And if people lay their opinions on the basis that the geography is coexistent with the existing politics, I would not agree.
Sir, I put it to you, because we will continue dragging. I put it to you that from all that I have shown you, which are geographical plottings and also historical accounts by people who administer the area, there is no difference between a historical and a geographical description of the Middle Belt. Yes or no?
There is. I'm a human being entitled to my view and my intelligent interpretation as you are.
Thank you very much.
You did not make them gods.
Do you support equal economic and social development of the former northern region?
Come again, please.
Do you support equal economic and social development of the former northern region?
Again, I'm sorry, I don't understand with your expression of equal.
Do you support economic and social development in any part?
I support
of the former northern
economic
region
and social development as a continuous and ongoing endeavors in all social and political economic life.
Do you
They can
support?
never be equal.
Do you support the drilling of crude oil in the Lake Chad?
Do I?
Support the drilling of crude oil in the Lake Chad?
It depends by who and at what cost and at whose cost.
Do you support the drilling of crude oil in the Lake Chad by NNPC, Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation?
Do I support it? Do I have a locus in it, supporting or not supporting it? Multinationals are coming to dig and find money and oil. I will support it if I know the motive and the ends of it. I personally, are asking my view. I would not openly just support something because it is an act to be done. It is I'll have more questions to ask than just a nominal question of whether you support the drilling of oil in the Lake Chad.
The NNPC has been drilling for oil in the Lake Chad for the past 16 years. And that is the longest drilling contract in the whole world, in the whole history of the world. Are you happy that they are making efforts to discover oil in the north?
The complexities of drilling is an investment like any other investment. If they want to sink 100,000 for 16 years, $1 million drilling for oil, it is a matter for the investors to decide and carry on. I don't see what my role there is. I cannot answer you there. I'm sorry, my lord.
Are you aware that there is crude oil deposit
Where?
in Benue State in commercial quantity?
Is that so?
Yes.
Well, it's good.
Are you aware?
I am not in a position to be aware. These are speculative
Okay,
statements.
let me make you be aware. My lord, I seek to
You
tender.
can enlighten me.
I seek to tender Shagari in Benue State, being a publication by Dan Agbese when he was director of. Don't worry,
There's
sir.
oil in the Chad.
Don't worry.
Depends how far you are going.
Dan Agbese, when he was the director of information in Benue State, he chronicled the visit of Shagari to Benue State. I applied to tender it, sir.
With 94, page what?
My lord, pages 26 and 52. In fact, before you go to those pages, the introduction is this for explanation. They say the publication is in 3 parts. Part 1 embraces all the addresses the president received from Governor Peraku and the people of Benue State. Part 2 is a pictorial representation of some of the things the president saw and did, while Part 3 contains all the responses of Mr. President to the various welcome addresses given to him. So open at page 26, where somebody told him that there's oil. Page 26.
I know Damagwese, my lord. I will not doubt what he says. But there was oil in Owerri as far back as 1938. And the matter only came to the fore in the 60s when we were in the Civil War. So there may well be oil there. There may be
this
well
one
oil
came to the fore in
other places.
1981. I'm not blaming you. I just want to bring facts to the commission so that the Middle Belt will be developed. We are dying. Go to page 26.
Yes.
Where it is ticked. Mr. President, sir.
Yes.
Read from there.
Minerals. Mr. President, sir, for a very long time, the air has been rent with news of the availability of petroleum in Idoma land. Just before the Civil War broke out, the firm of Safrap, a French company, prospected for oil in this territory.
Yes.
They carried out vast and extensive field work in and around Adoka, Iga, Okpaya, Ubokbo, and Agatu. They made us believe that we have oil in commercial quantities in all the areas mentioned above. Safrap is no more, but in its place there is now a company called ELF. And of course, there is still in the and of course, there still is the federal government. We find it hard to believe that for no just cause, the federal authorities should turn their backs on us. Once again, we appeal to you, Mr. President, to order immediate resumption of the explorations stopped as a result of the war which ceased more than a decade ago.
Yes, open to page 52 and let's hear what Shagari said.
How much longer?
In response to that.
How much longer?
My Lord, I can't tell because we have not really touched their main response.
For the last 1 hour, I've been dealing with one issue, only one.
52.
Being one
Yes.
North, one people, one destiny. Slogan of NPC does not bind other groups. That's what you suggested. And everything else has been an elaboration of this one theme.
Lord, sorry, your speaker is not...
How much longer are we spending on your cross-examination before we start to hear your own?
My Lord, I will try in the next 30 minutes.
You don't know how much longer you stay?
In the next 30 minutes, sir. In the next 30 minutes, I will round up.
30?
Yes, sir.
Goodness, good. Go on.
Open at page 52.
Yes.
That was Shagari's response.
Yes.
The thoughts to the last paragraph where it is underlined. Read the whole of that paragraph.
Since the beginning of this administration...
Not there, sir. Not there. The thought to the last, down. I am aware of the discovery.
I am aware of the discovery of oil in this part of the state.
Yes.
The appropriate federal ministry is studying the type of oil discovered before it can be decided on the possibility of its commercial exploitation. The location of Otukpo and other towns in Benue State and their proximity to the Ajakuta iron and steel complex is such that these towns will surely benefit from the industrial byproducts of the mill. The proposed dual carriage railroad from Port Harcourt to Makadi and Ajakuta will pass through Otukpo from Otukpo. It will also serve the Yandev cement factory. Okay. Otukpo will therefore be a major junction of the rail network system in this part of the country.
All right, thank you. From Shagari's response recorded there, His Excellency did not deny that oil was found in commercial quantity in Benue State.
Yes.
Thank you.
The River State attorney is not listening.
My Lord.
They say oil was found somewhere else. You're not the only one with oil. There are some other people with oil. Yes.
No, gas is your worry.
Progress, progress, progress.
Yes. Open at page 26, paragraph 2.1 of that big response. I want to enter into the response now. I won't take time.
Exhibit what? Page 46 of exhibit what?
This big one is... Lord, is the addendum to the response of Arewa Consultative Forum. Exhibit 63, my Lord. That big book. The big response.
That's page 63. Page what?
Exhibit 63. Exhibit 63, my
what?
lord. Page 26. Paragraph 2.1.
46, para 3 point.
Page 26, my lord. 20. Paragraph 2.1.
26.
Yes. 2.1.
Yes.
This section will not be complete, your lordship. Just read the first sentence, just one sentence. Page 26, paragraph 2.1. Madam, okay, I see your one first. I don't even have a copy.
Yes.
Yes. Just that first sentence. This section will not be complete, your lordship. Just one sentence.
This section will not be complete, your lordship, until we confirm to you our belief that all the major national groups used a regional base to fight their own cause with varying degrees of success.
Yes.
None
That is all, sir.
Yes.
Who are those major groups? Can you name them? Who used regional bases to fight their own cause? Name the
Major
groups.
national groups,
Yes.
the Yoruba group,
Yes.
the Igbo group,
Yes.
and the amorphous Hausa Fulani group.
You will agree with me, therefore, that from your description of those groups,
Yes.
the northern minorities, otherwise called the Middle Belters, were not part of the major groups you just mentioned. And they have been oppressed since then. Because when those people fought and got it, they were enjoying alone.
You yourself deny that they are minorities.
No, just
you said
the
the Middle
northern,
Belters are the majority.
the northern tribal minorities who
Yes.
do not belong to these groups you have mentioned have never had it well because they did not. They were not strong enough.
All the northern tribes were subsumed in Hausa Fulani. In the political thesis of Nigeria and understanding its context, once you are from the north, you are dubbed Hausa Fulani.
You are a Hausa Fulani man.
I am not. I am a Bura-speaking man from the Babur tribe.
But you subsumed yourself to Hausa Fulani.
Like you and I, in the context of our politics, we are Hausa Fulani. You can now claim to be Middle Belt in order to do exactly what we have said is being done here, so that you can context for an advantage which you can take on the platform of being a minority.
I put it to you that I am a thief man.
I put it to you, sir, my
No,
lord.
don't worry. Don't
that
worry.
I am a
Put it to
Bura
me.
man.
You answer my question. You can't put it to me.
Yes.
Oh,
When you are here and I'm there, then you will put it to me. I put it to you that
as
I
your
am a
lordship
thief man,
pleases.
and I'm proud to tell you that I wasn't conquered by the House of Fulani at any time, unlike you, maybe.
I was never conquered. In your own context, you have enumerated me as part of the Adamawa minorities that form the Middle Belt. And I'm telling you that in political terms you may be right, but in geographical terms you are wrong. And nobody has talked about being conquered throughout the context
Okay.
of the definition of Middle Belt. we're not talking about conquering, in which case you will bring the political scenario of, for example, the Kwara state, which is a mixture of the complex we have in the rest of the north.
All right. I don't want
Hausa
to
Fulani passed through you, they left you their cow, which you chinye muchi. Come back now and say they didn't conquer you because they didn't establish oppressive empire over you.
I agree, sir. I know that I am Munchi. That one I won't deny.
Yeah, my in-law through my son's marriage. So be careful.
Sir, please turn to page 3 of that same book, paragraph 1.6.
Paragraph
1.6.
1.6.
Yes.
What page, please?
Page 3, paragraph 1.6. Just quote that, only one sentence, only one.
Yes.
By its culture and history.
By its culture and history, the North and its successor states never espoused or pursued policies based on tribalism or tribal supremacy.
Yes. Does that posture, does that position you are maintaining there exist today? Honestly speaking.
I don't know what you mean by today. Today we are not in the context of northern region. What is talking here is the culture and history of the North. The North that was northern region. The North to which we sent our kith and kin to mine tin for the colonialists. The North where we gave scholarship indiscriminately to every northern indigene, whether he was Yoruba speaking, Hausa speaking, Fulani speaking, Tiv speaking, or Biram. We are talking about that North. We are not talking about the North today, which does not exist as a political expression.
Okay. Are you talking from historical records or you are giving your own opinion?
I can cite examples to you. I can cite examples to you.
Yes.
Chief Daniel Silas is Yoruba speaking from Kwara. He was on scholarship when the campaign for ceding Kwara to the West in those early 50s was on. They had to come back to tell their people that the competitiveness for scholarship in the West is such that you and I in this area will not benefit. We are better where we are.
Yes.
Right? That is one example. Because the North was North. And it was for all Northerners, whether you are Muslim or Christian.
Okay. My Lord, I apply to tender a book entitled The Kaduna Mafia. It's edited by Dr. Bala Takaya and Professor Sonny Theoden. I apply to tender it into evidence as an exhibit. Okay.
Exhibit 95.
As a commission places. Turn to page 49. Bring your copy. The Kaduna Mafia.
Page 49.
Yes.
Any specific page?
Page 49, my lord.
49.
Start from the first paragraph. Is only into 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph down.
Sorry?
From there was little effort.
Line, paragraph.
From first paragraph, from clearly.
Yes.
Then you go like up to 10 lines. Then you see there was little effort by the British administration.
So here, clearly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
From clearly, you
Yes.
now count 10 lines
There
down.
was little effort
Yes.
by the British administration besides that which encouraged Christian missionary work to develop an entirely new political conception of the North with a new political culture within which British civilization might be infused to shape the patterns of modern socio-economic and political development. The non-Islamic groups were in most instances simply placed under the direct leadership of Muslims emirate system, and this leadership was moderated by British residents, district officers, and assistant district officers. This leadership in most instances was Hausa Fulani and Muslim in the north, held suzerainty by right of recent conquest, that therefore involved the ultimate title to land, the right to appoint emirs and all officers of state, the right to legislation and taxation. Obviously, the potentialities of the non-Islamic groups, particularly those in the Middle Belt areas, were considerably undermined.
Thank you.
So much so that they were considered not to merit any attention in the eye of the British. This was particularly so in the early period before the age of anthropologists, the decade after the 1930s.
Yes. From that quotation, 1, the Hausa Fulani were put on top, the rest were under by the British colonial administration.
Wrong.
From
Sir,
that quotation 2, you
please.
said wrong.
Please, let me expatiate.
Okay, go ahead. We don't have time. I want to round
Yes, but we have time to find the truth.
All right,
and
go
to write our history the way we understood it.
Thank you. Go ahead.
When the British expanded and had the Northern Territory as part of their protective country, they adopted a policy of indirect rule, which preserved some state of existence of political administration. There were areas that were not subject to the Emirates administration.
Yes.
Therefore, the northern region was open to adopt which best ways they were to administer these territories. And it was the force of history that created administration in these areas that were not emirate. And where they were not emirate, I know that it was a policy of the northern region to create the semblance of their own chieftaincy for their own administration. Because, or for example, let's cite the area of Jos Plateau. The people were living in their isolated farming territorial cultures. Some of them had interacted by the Hausa Fulani who were fighting their jihads before the British stopped the fight. When the British were mining, for example, for tin, it was not the Birom or the immediate indigenes that were brought to do the labor work. The British adopted a policy of subscribing people from all the emirates. And when you bring your people, they were having 2 choices during the Civil War, during the World Wars. You serve in the army, or you are assigned to work at the mines. Now, in course of time, by the time the first chief of Brom was brought and made a chief, it was the northern region's decided policy. Because before then, those erstwhile houses and so on that were brought to mine, they had established their own administration, which was what they understood then. The courts were in Hausa, the records were in Jami, like in all the Emirates. But it was the policy of the region not to concede the growth of that administration. When the first Birom man was brought to Jos and made a chief and was taken to represent his people in the Northern Region Assembly.
Okay, sir.
So
if we continue going on,
for them to say that there was a hierarchy, we had a state of civilization and organization when the British came. Okay. And in some places we had isolated tribes who had just their little republican kingdom and chieftain, which does not extend to any large collective farming or urban living.
All right, sir. Let me ask you a question. Do you know when the Zaria Emirate was established?
I don't know.
What of the Kafanchan Emirate? Yes.
When they were established?
Yes.
I don't know.
Is it not true that people who were in rulership in those areas were dethroned by the British in combination with the Hausa Fulani?
15 minutes more, you've done half the time.
Yes, sir.
As I have said, the
emirate system established.
We should understand that we have a history of people who were migrating, interacting. Without the British, we would have had our own settled history in a different form.
So the British...
So if it was created, you have to understand to what extent, as at that time, the Fulani jihadists or the Hausa jihadists had either conquered or not conquered the territory. There must be a history to it. And that history is being changed because of our new political awareness, our new awareness of principles of democracy, and so on. So we will accept that that kind of feudal tutelage was no good for the civilization in which we find ourselves. So we should look at this thing in the context of that historical epoch.
Thank you for that answer. In the context of northern Nigeria, how do you place the population of the Tiv people?
It's a matter of fact, established by census or by counting. It is not a conjecture. I cannot conjecture the population of the Tiv people.
Okay. How do you place them? Are they the largest group in the north? Are they the second largest?
I don't know whether they are first, the second, but I believe I read somewhere that they are about the 6th largest tribe in Nigeria. I may be wrong.
Okay, that is in Nigeria. Please bring that book. That is that one on top. Exhibit 91, yes. 92. Open at pages 270 to 72 and 279 to 80. Open to page 279 to 80. Let us try and restrict the time. Sorry, 283 to 284. The underlined portions. I don't expect you to read. Look at 284.
Yes.
What position was the chief of Tiv occupying on that chart?
I don't see a chart here.
Okay, what is the heading on page 283?
Page 283.
Yes.
Members of Northern Regional Council, 1951.
Yes. So look at page 284.
Yes.
What is the position of the chief of the thief people? Is it the 6th? Is it the 10th? Is it the 5th?
Well, I have to see it first. Where is it? I cannot see chief of thief people.
Just bring that.
Huh? What number is it? I don't see it. Chief of the thief people, I don't see it.
There is no position for the chief of thief in that chart, in the whole of the northern members of Northern Regional Council, 1951.
1951.
There is none.
I see.
Turn to page.
No.
But
You have
who
to
is the
answer.
maker of the book?
Don't nod. We are recording you there. So if you nod, they can record the nod.
Thank you, my man.
Say something so they can record there.
Turn to page 287 to 288. What is the position of the chief of the thief people there? Pages 287 to 288.
Yes. May I ask, is this book sacrosanct?
Just answer my question, sir.
What is your question, sir?
Turn to pages 287 to 288. What is the position of the thief, the chief of thief? Is it the 10th, the 2nd, or the 1st?
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
Count from 1.
To where?
Count from the first chief.
Oh, all right. Chief. Chief
Or
of thief.
Eme, or
Yes,
Sakana.
I have seen it. Chief of thief, vacant.
So, I don't want to go to other tribes in the Middle Belt. You will agree with me that there was no fair representation of Middle Belt people under the leadership of Northern Nigeria in very sensitive areas. And therefore, you cannot claim that the Northern regional government was fair to the minorities.
Sorry, I don't understand what you imply here by fairness. He is listed here, and the title says is vacant.
Are you aware of the fact that the first OT was appointed in 1939 and he assumed office in 1946? So he couldn't have been vacant. It couldn't have been vacant as at 1951.
My lord, chieftaincy has its laws of creation. If the law created it then, and it had no historical status, it is when it is created that it is given a precedence under the ranking of chiefs. It is not a hat picked, it's not something picked out of the hat.
The truth is this, I put it to you that the thief, even in the national, the federal configuration of affairs, you said that the 6th largest tribe, which I still disagree. So if it's in Northern Nigeria, they will be the 2nd or the 3rd. So they are supposed to occupy that position on those charts.
You may have been populous, but you may not have the chief.
I am putting it to you that
Until
the
it was
Tosti was
created.
appointed in 1939.
Well, my lord, if you give me the history as to the first dynasty of thief chiefs and they were not recognized, I will concede. But the mere fact somebody in 1951 made a list of chiefs and they didn't list you, it's possible that you were either non-existent or that you were not recognized.
Okay, I have 2 or 3 questions. Then I will sit down. Were you in the army as at 1976?
I was.
There was a coup.
1976?
1975.
Yes.
That most unfortunately killed Murtala Muhammad.
1975, yes.
1976, February.
1976.
February 13.
Yes.
Are you aware that the Commissioner of Police for Plateau State, Joseph Gomwok, was executed, was tried, the governor of Plateau State, Joseph Gomwok,
Yes.
was tried and executed in that coup, or as a follower of that coup?
I'm aware.
How many trials did he go through?
How many?
Trials.
Trials?
Yes.
I don't know.
I put it to you.
I was not responsible for convening him for trial, nor for prosecuting him or charging him. So I
put it to you that he went through the first trial, no conviction. The second trial, no conviction. And at the third trial, they said he must be convicted and executed by all means.
My lord, I don't know who you mean by they said. I don't know who they were. Who said?
He's not saying you said. He said, do you know that things like this happened? Finish.
My lord, he said
not
they said he must be
pinning you with
convicted.
responsibility. Did you know he was tried, acquitted, convicted, and hanged the same day?
Yes, my lord, what I was saying is that even if I know that, I didn't know the day he's adverting to who said he must be found guilty.
Now, you seem to know everything, but that one you don't want to know, so I will leave you. Do you also know, sir, that as a fallout of that coup, the Nigerian army entered into Angas villages, killed a lot of people, raped women, destroyed villages? Are you aware?
I'm hearing it for the first time.
I put it to you that that was the position. Finally, what is your faith?
It's with God.
What is your religion?
My religion is Islam.
Do you support Sharia in Nigeria?
As a Muslim, Sharia is fundamental to your acceptance of God and his own rules.
Would you agree?
There is no question of agreeing or disagreeing.
Would you also support that it should apply to Christians and others?
Nobody has said Sharia should apply to a non-Muslim. It is never done. It's not the teaching of Islam.
As a lawyer, is Sharia constitutional?
What did you say? It's not a lawyer there. It's a witness.
Sorry, sir. Are you aware that Sir Ahmadu Bello, the former premier of Northern Nigeria, stopped Sharia simply because he thought Sharia will bring problems to this country? I have proof here. Don't deny.
Ahmadu Bello did not stop Sharia. He is not competent to stop Sharia. Sharia per se is part and parcel of the Islamic religion. But what we can say is the application of criminal Sharia jurisdiction in a state that is not a Sharia state cannot be made generally applicable. And what Sardauna did was to commission a committee to study and document how best to ensure that Sharia criminal jurisdiction can coexist with a secular state.
3 minutes more.
Yes, my
and
lord.
that was what gave birth to the penal code.
So, was Sardauna not wise and prudent to bring up a penal code which was a compromise position to take care of divergent views here and there? Was it not wise?
He was always a wise man. He was wise. Sardauna was a wise man.
And therefore, anybody that goes to the contrary to what he did is inviting trouble.
It doesn't follow.
That is all for him, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have 2 minutes and unexpired term. Now, do you start now? I'd like to start tomorrow morning, which... How many of you can sit till 6? All of you?
Yes. My lord, if you can sit till 6, we can sit till 8.
Till 6?
Yes.
Allah.
All right, let's start with the cross-examination. We'll see how far we go.
Does the chairman take an up to 4 o'clock or 5?
5.
How many minutes do you think you will need? How many hours?
It's very difficult for me to...
And what because as I told them before when we started, we've got the
Arewa
the
presentation
Hanese, and
took,
the